Hello and welcome. This is a brief tutorial I'll be making on how to create a multi-handed object and also how to make that object be able to shoot without things breaking. So to start, I'm just going to drag an avatar out here, set its position to 0. This is my personal avatar, but we'll just use it for the sake of demonstration. And we're going to put a cube in order to demonstrate this on the wrist, which is obviously going to be way too large to start. This will do. And generally you want it to be following the wrist like this. The angle in order to make that correct may be different on every avatar, so I'm not going to give you any consistent values that'll always put it there. And what we want to do is we want to create some empty game objects. And I'm going to move the second one towards the end of this cube. Then I'm going to put the cube on the end of this, which are going to make this a dynamic bone. All the values for this need to be 0. The radius can be whatever you like. I personally go with 0.01. And then you'll have one collider and one exclusion, which will be the cube. And I will show you how to create the collider, which is obviously going to be on your left arm. Just create an empty game object for it, add a dynamic bone collider, set its bounds to inside and its radius to nothing. And then move it wherever in the hand you prefer. And now we're going to throw that game object in there as the collider. And we're going to put this in as the root. Those radiuses are way too large. That's more manageable. And then at this point, we can just hit play. And as you can see, it is working. Now, if all you're doing is creating a multi-handed object, this is all you need to do. This is the simplest and easiest way to do it, and if all you're doing is this, it'll work perfectly fine. But obviously, because some people are going to use these for guns and whatnot, I will show you how to make you do that without it breaking. And it's important that you follow this part to the T. So I will simply drag my particle system on here. Position it as I like. But obviously, since this is a world particle, it's not going to work correctly out of the box since it's attached to the IK. And just straight up using an IK follower or a fixed joint will break this. So I'm going to create an empty game object, and I'm going to contradict what I just said by making a fixed joint and setting it up as usual. And then I'm going to create the other rigid body, if I could spell with one hand, on here with the correct settings. Actually, no, that is not correct. We will create an empty game object here to put that rigid body on. And we will put this on the fixed joint. And then we're going to create a dynamic bone on this. And none of the settings here matter. But we're going to put that game object in there. And what this will do, since it is considered the root for a dynamic bone, the game will, well, the engine, or subsequently VRChat, will prevent it from moving, which is what we want. And now, if I hit play, if I had set up the joint correctly, now you can see that the particle system follows this correctly. And we have a little cube that we can shoot. And this will all work correctly in-game. And it's critical that you do the dynamic bone trick here if you're going to use a fixed joint, because if you don't, while it'll work correctly in Unity and it'll work correctly client-side, when other people look at your avatar as you're using this, it will desync really badly, and it's an awful issue to try and diagnose. So please make sure you follow this to the T. But there you go. That's how you do it. I hope you create a lot of cool shit with this, and I'll see you all later.